Manage Comics. Coming to you from a secret underground lair, these dedicated heroes discuss the business of comics, industry news, comic book retail issues, and the latest developments from Manage Comics. They are promoters of comics, champions of small business, and four-color heroes. They are the Manage Comics team.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Thursday, July 17th, 2025. I am your host, Brian Garside, and this is Meanwhile at Manage Comics. We got a full house right now, 30 people. That's awesome. I love to do a little shout out to folks as we see people coming in. So we've got a lot of people that I don't think I've ever seen before here. So we've got Joe from Atlantis. We've got Rob from Myths, Legends, and Heroes in, I believe it's in Toronto too. My buddy Pete was telling me about you the other day. We got Paul from Need a Hero. We have Jason from Stronghold Collectibles. We've got Vault of Midnight, one of my favorite shops in Detroit. I love the Detroit shop. I've been to the Ann Arbor shop. I've not yet made it to Grand Rapids, but I swear I will. But welcome folks from Vault of Midnight. Got Brett Lord from Rick's Comic City, current Managed Comics, and so is Jason from Stronghold. So if you guys want to know bad things about us, ask Jason and Brett from Rick's. We've got Ottawa, Ontario representing, Tommy from Richmond Comics, who's a CSA user. We have Scott and Sid from Castle Perilous Games and Books, John from Just Action Figures in JAF in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. John will also tell you good things about us or bad things. So will Something for the Geek End. The Dark Side, Brian, I think you're a current store. Not sure. Oh, it's Jen from the Dragon in Guelph, just down the road from me. Got Secret Identity from Fresno. Guys, it's great to see everyone. This is amazing. So I'm going to get right to things. It's been a heck of a month. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on right now. We're going to talk a little bit about multi-store, and then we're going to talk about some of the new things that are happening and how we're supporting 320 plus Comic Suite users, the 500 or 600 Pullbox users, and kind of what our offerings are going to be going forward, and what's led us up to this point, and how quickly I think we've adapted to things, all things going on. So on June 30th, Diamond released a message that said Pullbox availability was basically being discontinued immediately. Originally, we were told that it would be at least until the 31st of July. So even though both services still exist and seem to be alive, there's no data for them right now. So they're kind of slowly withering on the vine. They did note that POS systems will continue to run with the Comic Suite customizations, primarily and systematically move consumer subscriptions from the web or in-store into the cart of the POS. It also has custom modules for cycle counting, reporting shortages and damages, and general ordering. And then they said that you can obtain support for your POS system, Retailer Management Hero, which is RMH, from third-party provider of your choice, like our choice, which is MCI, which we'll talk about in a bit. RMH modules may cease to function when a user's license for the software expires. If necessary, users should check their documentation or contact RMH to verify the expiration date of their license. So this is another option where you're going to want to check with our partners at MCI. So of course that caused scramble. I was actually on a mountain in Eastern Ontario, just enjoying some time with my family, and that message went out, and I believe I shouted very loudly an expletive that made my wife jump and say, "What is going on?" So yeah, our mission statement at Managed Comics is to help comic shops survive and thrive in the modern era. That's always been our mission statement. I mean, my North Star is to make sure that my kids can take their kids to a comic shop when the day comes that they have kids. So with that in mind, this is like super important to me. So I immediately grabbed a couple of my people. We had already been talking to Shawn at MCI. MCS. I keep saying MCI. It's a local computer company. MCS. So I've been talking to Shawn at MCS, and he said, yeah, we're already starting to support RMH customers. So, I said, what can I do to help you? And, a relationship was born. We had met each other a while previous, but there was another party involved that kind of stopped us from doing anything that we wanted to do. So now we don't have that, and things are going well. So the next thing to do was just take a break and take a breath. I think it was by Wednesday that I'd kind of gotten all the pieces together. I literally unplugged for an entire day and just like did my own thing with my family, and it was lovely. But it gave me an opportunity to really look at what needs to be done and what needs to be done quickly. We were able to analyze what we have, determine what we can do, put a reasonable timeline on that, and then do whatever we can to make that timeline unreasonable. So general project management kind of 101 right there. Build a timeline and throw it to the wind as soon as you are ready to go. From there, we talked to some Comic Suite people. So I talked with Daniel and I want to say it's Brian. It is. I think Brian's here actually. About kind of what Comic Suite did. I did some demonstrations of what Managed Comics could do at the time. And then both of them said, yeah, you know what? We're not too far off. Like there's a few things we can do. There he is, Brian. Brian Polizzi's here. So Brian and I had a really great conversation just this past Saturday. And I think both of them really made me understand that we were on the right track and that this was something that was going to work. So we made a quick plan to get there very fast, and that has led us to today. So today we're going to meet the bots, and some of them and some of them you don't. And I know this is kind of cutesy, but I swear to you, there's a reason for this, and it's not just crass marketing. So we've always had the guy on the left there. That is Subscribotron. We just found out his name is actually Ordo, and he has the green eyes because that's the green Shopify eyes. Our new fella on the left is Oryx, and he is the Managed Comics bot that will be doing our standalone stuff. So Ordo is the same version of Shopify Managed Comics that's been there forever, 3-4 years now. He is multi-store enabled. We're just merging all of our recent changes in, and then we'll do one last regression test on all that stuff. So we have a whole bunch of changes that Natalia's been working on while we were testing 2.0. So we're very close to that. Managed Comics Oryx is the same code base as Ordo, but he's now standalone. So we just ripped out all the Shopify guts and replaced them with nothing but pure oxygen. So he's now ready to take on the world because he has none of that stuff in him. It actually ended up being way more stable right off the bat than I had kind of thought it would be. I've been really impressed with it so far. I mean, it's built off of a very stable code base that's been working wonderfully for 4 years. So I shouldn't be surprised. I was just worried, like taking all that core functionality out, what would that do? We just removed all the customer order requirements. So it doesn't actually generate full orders. It just generates pull lists right now. But that is something that we can bring back, and it's on the roadmap. And then finally, we needed a place for Previews World to live. So Managed Comics Aura is where that's going to be. It's a place where every comic that was ever made will live. It's going to allow us to do subscriptions without every single store requiring their own Managed Comics instance on a website, because frankly, that's just not possible. There's a lot of these stores that we're talking to now who only have a Facebook presence or may have a Wix page or something, and they don't want to invest in a Shopify page. There's probably a bunch of Managed Comics Shopify users right now who would happily leave Shopify because they're not using Shopify for anything other than the managed comics piece. And if that's the case, we can definitely talk about migrating you over. It will also be a Pullbox that uses managed comic style subscriptions. So it'll have recurring subscriptions, it'll have pre-orders, and we are going to add a bunch of new features down the road. Everything that we do, and I need to turn off the slide for a second to make sure that my face is seen. Everything that we do on Oryx will come over to Shopify, Ordo, with a few exceptions. And those are exceptions that are specific to the limitations that Shopify places on this. Example, Ordo, or Oryx, even I suck at this. Oryx, we will be adding vaulted credit cards at some point. We can't do that with Shopify because Shopify controls the credit card flow. So we're not able to add Shopify's vaulted credit card, but we're definitely going to bring the logic from Managed Comics 1.0 into Oryx. It just makes sense. Another one that we might not be able to do is there's some very specific things with the way that customers and things like that will work that we'll probably have more control over customers in Oryx than we will in Ordo or the Shopify version. Because in Ordo, remember, we only keep the ID. In this one, we have the option of bringing in more data if it makes sense to, be able to manipulate that data for customers in Oryx. So, okay, let's get back to the fun stuff. So here's our road where we are right now. As of today, Ordo Multistore is in final QA. We're merging all the recent updates that have happened in there, and we will do a final test this week. And then Taras just has to merge all that stuff into the code base and launch it when we're able to. We have very tight windows with that. We're only able to launch on Thursdays and Fridays because everyone's using the system every other time. I think eventually we're going to have to build some sort of promotional tool so that we can make it live in production and then gradually introduce people or something. I don't know, because not being able to, we have stores that are in New Zealand, we have stores in Australia, we have stores in England. Not being able to turn the system off for even 10 minutes is really hampering our ability to push updates. So that's a thing. Oryx phase 1 will be in a closed beta literally as soon as Taras can spin up servers. I've got 5 people identified. Brian will definitely be one of them. And we will get those folks in and get them to basically use our imports. And this will be live. So they'll everything they're doing will be something they can immediately use. Use it for initial order reporting, for ordering. So once they've got all their imports in, all their customer data will be in, then we'll know that we've mapped everything properly, that they can do their imports, their orders, their FOC orders. They'd be able to do pulls immediately. So check-in products, create pulls. We have we'll have downloads for the items, so products, which can then be uploaded into Comic Suite or RMH, sorry. I'm so used to saying Comic Suite. This is going to take a while. And we will have work order exports that can then be turned into work orders within RMH. So those two things will be files in the beginning. And then you'll see kind of our next step on that. By the way, if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Phase 1.5 will be in 2 weeks, roughly, and that will allow people to self-serve sign up. Once we've had people using the beta and they're comfortable that this is something we can release to the world, I can do manual updates for new stores. So I can get stores in there by just getting their information and adding it. I really don't want to because I hate being the bottleneck for things. And sometimes I just get pulled away for something for 8-10 hours and I'm not able to do this stuff. So as soon as we can get self-serve stuff, we're going to do it. I also have to build with my partner, Craig, an onboarding system for this, which will have emails that'll go out to folks which will explain how to use the system. And last but not least, we have to basically overhaul our help system to support this new system. After that, and probably around the same time that we do this, we should be able to have RMH API connections. So I'm in a chat with RMH right now to get the necessary credentials I need for our API connections. Once we do, we'll start to build product imports and work order imports that will be kind of outside of that will happen in Managed Comics, and that will import directly into RMH with just a button click instead of having to upload files and stuff like that. And then at that point, we'll begin charging stores. We'll get to pricing in a couple minutes. Phase 3 is going to be the front end. So that is going to be the whole OPA thing. We will have a whole, and that's not the URL, by the way. I'm just not prepared to tell you what the URL is right now, because we're probably going to be building on it for the next few weeks. So that will be the customer front end. And it will have a shop front end, which will allow you to manage your customer settings. Your customers will be allowed to update their information there. We will probably have to do some sort of API talk back to RMH to update customer information if you need it. And that'll probably be something that gets triggered with, a button press where we'll show you all the changes that have happened to your customers, and you can accept or reject them. We'll also have products on the front end, new previews website, and it will be a single website with subscriptions on it, and you'd log into a specific store. Rob says, do I have to get Shopify 5 Lightspeed? I'd like to stick with one POS system. I don't need a POS system for online web sales. Yeah, you'll be able to. So Oryx will actually work with Lightspeed. That is something I was going to talk about later. So yeah. A question from Stronghold: will the new previews website be useful to Shopify customers? I imagine so. I think we'll still have links into Shopify store. So one of the features will be like find your store. And if your store is using this, then it will just link into it. So for you guys, this will just kind of automatically push them to your store. So yeah, I think it will be. It's also going to be like, if Previews World goes away, we lose the collective knowledge of all that information. And I kind of want to preserve it. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but I use Previews World all the time just to look up a product. So we need a repository for that, and I'm just going to make it myself. Phase 4 will be customer billing. So you'll be able to bill for your subscriptions, and we'll have vaulted credit cards. Again, that's something we can't have in Shopify, but it's like the only kind of definite distinction between the two. And at some point we'll do pre-order billing and FOC billing. But that is quite down the road. Plus, Oryx is going to get all of the Managed Comics upgrades that we do in that time. And that's going to include, we're working on publisher tools coming up. We've got a whole ton of improvements that are in the way up. I don't have Shopify or Lightspeed, just the Comic Suite POS. Do I need something else? Nope. So Comic Suite isn't actually a POS. It's RMH that you have. As long as you have RMH, this will work for you. So we are now going to be supporting RMH, Lightspeed, and Shopify point of sales. So it's a little more than what we've had before. Comic Suite is going away just because Diamond has basically killed it off. So as long as you're up to date on your RMHs, you're golden. You don't have to change point of sales. So our pricing for this is Managed Comics specifically, $100 for your first location, $80 a month for each additional location. That pays us to have a developer that's maintaining this product. It also will pay for, some of the data updates that we're constantly doing. That's offset obviously by our other system as well. But there's also a ton of server costs. I need probably more like actual people monitoring servers and stuff. So there's a ton of costs that are involved. So that's why this is going to cost. And to be totally honest, if Comic Suite would have charged for this all along a reasonable rate, they would still be alive, because you don't shut down a cost center. You shut down cost centers, not profit centers. And this should be a profit center for Diamond. But I mean, we'll do it. And honestly, we'll do it better than they did. We're actually a software development company. They were a comic distributor. It's a world of difference. But right now, let's talk with Shawn from MCS, who's going to talk to us about RMH and what he's been doing for stores with RMH and how he can help your store if he hasn't already. Shawn, come on in.
Hi, Brian. How you doing?
Good. The question here is, this will be a managed comics app we use on the desktop to replace Comic Suite, correct? Yes, that's correct. So managed comics is a web app, so you will still use it as a web app. RMH has always replaced Comic Suite. So Comic Suite is just a skin on top of RMH. So you'll still be using RMH to do all your checkouts. Comic Suite was just like this kind of skin that did a very, very small slice of things on top of it. So you've been soaking in RMH all along.
That's one of the big things that we've been trying to explain to everybody, that Comic Suite was doing comics. They sold you a product called RMH. That is your point of sale system. And they're separate items. So your RMH is still functioning. You have a license for RMH. And the only thing that you actually had to pay every year was called an enhancement, so that you're entitled to the latest of the program, as well as any fixes or any new features that come along. That's what you paid with your Diamond. And I'm going through this whole process and talking to everybody and trying to find out what actually Diamond sold you. There wasn't a single person that could told me what they paid for it. And I was kind of amazed at that, because most people are pretty straightforward. Well, I pay this much for that or this for that. But this time, whenever I asked about what Diamond actually charged them, nobody could actually give me a number.
Yeah, they often just buried it in invoices. And if anybody's ever seen a Diamond invoice, they bury stuff in invoices all the time, so you don't often see what they've done.
Right. And then we're, we got a new one here. We will be able to use the function like add DCD items into, yes.
Yeah. So that's just the DCD item is just a Diamond code specific. We call them Geek Fetch IDs. Same thing. So you'll still be able to add an item.
Yeah. Invoices were a joke.
Yeah. They still are. I still get them, and they're terrible.
Oh, mercy. So what we're trying to really do is break everything down so everything's itemized. You know exactly what you're going to pay for Brian's solution, which is outstanding. And after he explained the whole thing to me, I'm amazed at it. And this is going to be absolutely wonderful for everybody that's in the comic industry, because you think about it, every time you do something, if you're making a sale or you're ordering a product, it takes manpower. And so the best way to cut out the manpower, so you're not always paying everybody to work, let the machines and the software to do it. Brian's got the perfect software to do the ordering side, the subscriptions, as well as your pull boxes, all of that. And then once it comes down into RMH, then you finalize the sale through the work order. You'll be seeing a lot of that, and we'll be talking a lot more about it and how this is all going to function within inside of your computers. We're here to answer any question. I am the partner of record for anybody that's in the comic shop for RMH, and I provide support for RMH. I'm one of the original 8 people that started this company. I remember from ground up until we're at now, and this is the best retail software that you've ever had in your life when it comes to selling with a POS system, knowing your inventory, knowing everything about it, what your business is doing, and make intelligent decisions. We did find out that less than 20% of the program is actually being used because no one's ever taught you how to use RMH. And that's part of my business, is teaching you, getting you from 20% knowledge of that program to 80, so as you get your life back. Let the software do what it's meant to do. It will pull that data out. It will show you that data. It'll go right import into an Excel spreadsheet, so you can do more pivot tables or anything you need to know to get a business intelligent decision to make more money for your company. And then what we found out is when this all came about, almost all of you were saying, oh, no, I use Comic Suite as my point of sale. I use Comic Suite as my point of sale. You weren't using Comic Suite as your point of sale. Your point of sale is RMH. Comic Suite was another layer that was connected to it so that it could do your ordering, your pulls, and your subscriptions. That brought it into RMH or through files that you had to import. So the lack of knowledge in the beginning of this, of knowing how Diamond sold it, kind of set us back. We also found out that Diamond didn't really did you any favors in installing your RMH and connected it the way that we would have connected it. I'm very precise in how the connection should be. Your POS system should work instantaneously. It shouldn't have delays. And we find a lot of delays out there that they've been experienced for years. We go into these machines. We fixed a lot of machines, and there's some people on this call that know that I've gone into their machines and fixed them, and they should be running a lot better and a lot faster when it comes to the point of sale. That's enough of my spiel, and I apologize for all that.
No.
But
that's what I have you here.
We've got a perfect solution from a devastation solution that we just experienced. Now we have something that's absolutely going to work for you and get your time back so that you're making a profit inside of your business and being able to order and not spending all your time or man hours trying to get this information all in one area. Brian's got that done for you. And I hope you guys really take a look at this and get to see some more demos of it. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I just want to show too, just to prove that it's not vaporware. This is our existing managed comics that works within Shopify. So you see the back to Shopify button, all that good stuff. This is our Oryx. He doesn't have his logo yet, but he will. We just finalized on the logo last night. So yeah, all of the things that we're working, products has got to go away because that actually isn't a thing that's in this system. So yeah, we're still kind of cleaning up things, but I mean, we have the ability to create users. So now you can create users within here as well. You can create extra locations. You have all your publisher settings. So you can set which distributors you want to get publishers from. We're actually going to add some new distributor settings. Like, so if you, let's say you want to use Filbo, we'll have the option of turning Filbo on or off. And if they're on, then any Filbo kind of stuff, you'll be able to choose them from a drop down. So I don't have Zenoscope on here, but that would be a good example. Our check-ins are all working already, so I can import a check-in and go through all my my phases. I think I did one last night. This is what our pull lists look like. We do have to create another download, which will be the product download that goes into RMH. But Shawn just literally sent me the information I need for that just recently. So we'll get that done. These are downloadable CSVs, which will let you download a CSV and slice and dice it however you want. Because there's a limited number of ways that we can show things on a screen, but a CSV lets you do whatever you want to with it. From an ordering perspective, I can just go ahead and upload an FOC order, which I haven't done this yet, so I'm not sure if this will even work. But why not do it right now, right? When we're testing things out. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Is there a sort by title one?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can sort by title. Actually, I don't even know if this is a FOC. It's not, this is dumb. That's a full, yeah, I'm going to bail out of that because that was not an FOC file. If I had an FOC file, which I don't seem to right here, I could upload one and we could see what that looks like. But it basically will look like this. So it's just going to show you all the items that are on that FOC. And then you can add shelf quantities, you'll see your orders. So who's subscribed to it already. If there's any of these if any of these actually have orders, you'll actually be able to see who has those orders. There we go. So we can see who's subscribed and who's pre-ordered on everything. And then we'll have order history over time. Obviously, we have no order history because we have no history here. So there'll be order history. And this, I think, will be a lot easier to integrate some stuff that we want to do because we're not having to go back and forth to Shopify for a lot of this stuff. Yeah, I'll just show you the order by title. So yeah, we can order by title as well. And then I believe this is not working. That should be ordering those by alphabetical. But also the CSVs that you can download will let you order it however you want. If you want to order it by customer ID and then by title, you can do that kind of stuff as well. Can you see the cycle data on the FOC? Not right now, but we will definitely get that in there soon. How many imports can be handled similar to... So with Penguin Random House, I regularly upload 12 to 13 invoices a week, and it doesn't hiccup. I'll just pull all those invoices in. You can also use the pre-delivery report. I don't like it as much because it doesn't have as much information. So I prefer to use the PDR report. If you're Canadian, also PDR reports are in US dollars, and the actual invoices are in Canadian Freedom units. So we prefer that. Can I import my Diamond subscriber? Yes, so you absolutely can. We have imports that will be done. They might actually already be done. Just one second. Settings, import subscriptions. Yeah, so we can do Comic Suite imports and Pullbox imports. So yes, you can import your customers and you can import your subscriptions from those. Yeah, so that's just a quick view of it. I will record a good demo and have that out there for everyone to take a look at, and you'll be able to see kind of how this system works. If you want to watch the current Managed Comics demo, it's going to be very, very similar to that. So yes, you will need to go to the publisher websites, but we do provide a subscribe product shortages that shows you the shortages and the damages. You're always going to need to go to the publisher's websites. There's no APIs right now. The first company that will have an API for us will be Universal Distribution. And then we're hoping that once we have an API with that everybody else will be like, oh, we should probably have APIs as well. But we'll see. These are big companies that are very busy, and this is not the biggest priority. Do I need emails for every customer? You don't. Is it a best practice that I would highly recommend? It is. You're essentially giving an interest-free loan to all your customers, and I don't like giving interest-free loans to people that I can't contact, preferably by email. One of the main reasons why I would recommend you having the emails for everyone is if we go to this reporting age subscriptions, if Anakin here hasn't been in over 90 days, I can click a couple buttons to these folks and I can say, hey, Anakin, pay your bill. And then it will actually show all the items that he currently has on order, and it will send that out to him. So if you have emails, that is a super easy thing to do. It's also very easy to sort this by 90s, by 60s, by 30s. I've been sending out 30 to 60 day emails and just saying, if you're over 30 days, we are going to suspend your account, and over 60 days, we cancel your account and put your stuff back on the shelves. So yeah, I love this. And this, honestly, this thing triggers payments better than anything else we do. Even though we send out invoices every month, this thing seems to trigger it because you can get nastier with that. Rob Fryer Tuck said thumbs up. I agree. If you can't trust your subscribers, just give you an email address and a credit card for their file. That's a big red flag. Yeah. Will customers be able to pay for their pulls at the time of order? How will that work for subscriptions as opposed to pulls? So pulls in general, that's items that have come in. Once we're at, I think it's phase 2 or 3, that's when we'll have the ability for end users to pay their invoices. And yeah, for sure, they'll be able to pay those invoices. You can also vault their credit cards, which means they can enter their credit card information and it gets stored as a secured token It's not even the number, it's just a token. And then that can automatically get paid. Think of the same way that you pay your telephone bill or whatever bill. It's the exact same mechanism. So every week or every month, there's certain customers you could just automatically ping, and they would get invoiced and pay their bill, and then it'll get reflected here. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shawn, I think we can send a work order to RMH that would say this order has been paid for and trigger it into a different state.
That's correct. We use a tender with other on it, and then that's going to tell you your web order subscriptions, whatever we name your tender type that you currently use or don't have, and we'll put them on there. So right. Yeah, it'll just come down because it's already been paid at the website area. When all we need is basically a placeholder to say, yeah, there was a sale. We need to process this out.
Exactly. Joe, you do not need to send an email every week. So one of the features in Managed Comics is we have pull emails. So I've been using the system now for 7 months. And I realize that I forget to do this every week. So I think we are going to add the ability for you to automatically send out an email every Wednesday unless you stop it. So there'll be a toggle on the main dashboard page that'll say your email is scheduled to go out tomorrow. Do you still want it to? And you'll have to turn it off if you don't want it to. The reason for that is especially at Christmas, for some reason, stuff just doesn't arrive on Wednesdays. And so you may have to pause that for a couple of days. So yeah, this will help you with that. And so yeah, you can send out a pulls email that will say all of the items that were pulled for those customers that week. You can, by the way, in the settings, you change that Managed Comics logo. So it's not Managed Comics. So it's your store logo.
Actually,
yeah, so that's
I got that question yesterday by Space Cat. They were asking, can we send out emails? And
yeah, for sure.
That question.
Yeah, so our system has a simple email system that you can send out general emails and stuff. If you want to send out really elaborate graphical emails, you're probably going to want to use something like MailChimp or I forget what the new one is that everybody's using. But there's a few different solutions you can use that are relatively inexpensive and let you send out really, really pretty ones. This is really intended for that quick email that you want to just get out today and just say, hey folks, comics are late, right? And then you just say our order didn't
Paul's a good one. He's got delinquent customers.
Yeah.
Mailer light, yeah.
Gets here. So you just fire that off and send that out. So yeah, it gives you very simple kind of things. We are also adding the ability to send a targeted campaign. So you just want to send your Batman people something, or your Something is Killing the Children campaign, that will get added here. So that's going in with our current promotions that we're doing. So let me get back to a couple of these questions here because I'm falling far behind. Stronghold asked, is this a Shopify feature as well? So that's the vaulted credit cards. It is not. Shopify has vaulted credit cards for B2B customers, not for B2C. It's been on their roadmap, and I have little birds that exist inside of Shopify who've told me that they're supposed to roll it out, but they've been telling me that for a year and a half now. So we don't know where that is yet. So send your new subscriptions or email with the new books on yes, so that is a function. That's the function I was just showing. Paul has way too many delinquent customers. We'll help you with that. Christina Strong, awesome. I won't wake up from a dead sleep at 3 a.m. because I forgot to send the pulls email. Yeah. Mailer Light. Yes. Thank you, Craig. Craig's my business partner in Managed Comics. Yeah, Mailer Light is as good as MailChimp, but it's cheaper. The only thing I don't like about Mailer Light is you don't have as many options for adding extra users to it. So if you need to have more than one user, I think it's quite hard. Knowing that change is hard, can we slowly roll out some of these features as we get used to? Yeah, I mean, so by default, we're not going to have the customer-facing tools. Those are going to come along soon, but not, within the next 3 weeks, month, maybe. Our number one goal is to get a solution out to replace Comic Suite as soon as possible. So we're hoping within the next 2 weeks, we can have that in your hands so that at least it makes your ordering easier and at least it makes check-ins easier. And then, as soon as we get that solution in hand, then we will start working on the customer facing tools. And I think, we turned this thing around really, really fast. It was, I think, 8 days from the time that we had the conversation until I had a testable beta. So yeah, it's I'm pretty confident that this will happen. Does MailChimp connect into RMH by API? I don't know. You can't send emails?
I can actually do that. Inside of the RMH program, you do have an SMTP area that you can place how you send out your emails that will go out from RMH. And they'll go out to purchase orders, to customers, things of that nature. There is a new feature that is coming by the end of the year that'll allow you to do campaigns out of it as well. That's what we're looking at doing. But as of right now, no, we set up your SMTP with your current information that you provide emails through, or we steer people to SMTP to go and then sign up for that. And then that'll allow you to communicate inside of RMH as well, because you can send out receipts through email in RMH. A lot of people don't know that. They just don't know how to set it up, unfortunately, but we set that up for you.
Yeah, fair enough. Can I set it up so my customers pay for their orders when they pick them up? Yeah, by default, that's kind of how it is. So customers will pay for orders when they pick them up through your point of sale. If you want to bill specific customers, you can. That's entirely optional. And in order to do that, you're going to have to set up taxes within our system and also a credit card processing thing. We'll use Stripe because it's easiest. It's easiest both for you to set up and it's easiest for us to integrate. And then if that gets enough traction, we can look at other credit card processors in the future. But right now it'll be our mission. One of our main missions is simplicity. We try and build the simplest solution there, which means sometimes some of the bells and whistles you're used to having may not exist, but we're building stuff that is easy to use, and that's our key watchword. How do we shift in Managed Comics to receive from different publishers? So one of the beautiful things is that all you do is drop your invoices here. We don't have the ability right now to take other publishers outside of the big five. But if we can get data from those people, we'll be able to import those in. Otherwise, you'll just take those things in the same way that you bring in any other product into RMH. So there's a process for bringing products into RMH. You can do that. If you want to use this, it's going to also allocate product to your customers and fill out any extra metadata. The data that we give to RMH is going to be way cleaner than the data that you're going to get out of an invoice. Yeah, because we have so much more data. Just for point of reference, we have 650 some odd thousand products in our database right now. We maintain that database by updating it 2 times a week. We are going to go to nightly in the fall once we've migrated all of our distributors over to the new Comet standard. We're just going to be able to trust the data a lot more. So we'll be able to go to a midnight update, and then any errors that happen, my data team will get notified of them in the morning, and we'll take care of them. I like simplicity. I'm simple. I am the simplest person you'll find. When they say KISS, I'm the S that they're talking about. Will vaulted credit cards be usable for prepaying pre-orders? So eventually, yeah, that's kind of a farther down the road thing. Once we get vaulted credit cards in Shopify, Christina, we will really turbocharge that stuff. Simon & Schuster has not been providing CSV files for invoices. Can you get them on board? I would love to. I have tried to reach out to Brandy. I forget her last name. It's an alliteration too. I have tried to reach out to her like literally 12 times, and she tells me that I'm on the radar and this is a priority, but it's been 6 months. I still have not made the number one priority. So I would love to get them on board. I don't think these places understand what a pain PDF. Brandy Bishop, see, alliteration. I was right.
Brandy Bishop.
We're trying. I'm desperately trying to get Brandy to get back to me and help me get their data, and explaining to them that we will increase the sales of those products because it's easier for you to sell those products is kind of the hardest part right now. That was a lot more questions than I kind of expected. So that was the questions and shoutouts portion of the show. If anybody else has any other questions, we've got about 10 more minutes to go.
You got one more.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm just going to let you know that we do weekly webinars, usually on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. You'll see them all on the front page of Managed Comics. So if you go to info or just managedcomics.com, front page, we'll have a webinar thing. Right now it has webinars and it has this that we're doing right now. As soon as I'm done our webinar today, then next week's webinar, the next 2 weeks will go up. So yeah, you'll see those there. And one last thing is at 4 p.m. today, we are having a webinar. So if you go to managedcomics.com/webinar, you'll be able to get on. I think I can, once we get started, I think I can actually share that. So I'll change that link so that it actually goes right into this webinar when we're ready to go. Let's see, where were we? Will invoices from Alliance, ACD, and other gaming companies be importable? So if we have the data, and if we've got a sample of the invoice, then we should be able to get the information. Alliance is going to be Universal very soon, and we already have an integration with Universal, so we will have their information very soon. As soon as probably shortly after August 11th, because I'm going to Montreal to visit the Alliance team there, the Universal team. It's not just you. Simon & Schuster is not planning to change anything about their ordering platform and invoicing. I've been working with them for 3 years. Jen, we should talk. I have so many horror stories. There's a ChatGPT tool that can turn PDFs into CSV files. If we could see that, I would love to try and figure out how to do that.
Well, I have the full-blown Adobe, so I can change any PDF to a CSV.
Yeah, they're tricky though. It doesn't always work with.
We got a code that straightens out the zeros that drop in the.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. It's all done.
That's cool. How does conversion to RMH/Managed Comics? So RMH, you're moving from RMS. So Shawn, you can talk a little more about the RMS to RMH.
Yeah, the way you'd move from RMS to RMH is we get a backup of your database. Once we get that database, we install RMH. You can run RMH and RMS on the same machine. So you don't have to worry about that, having a big training disability, not learning which one is which. And then once we backed up the database, then we're going to do a force table, which is what's going to happen. It's going to add table headers that we need inside to make RMH work into your SQL. Once that's done, your data is live and you're ready to go. It's not a long process. Depending on how many products and customers and everything you have in your database, generally we have you converted over to RMH within an hour.
That's amazing. And then the Managed Comics imports are just, you take your Comic Suite exports out and you'll import those into Managed Comics and you're done. It doesn't take a whole ton of work at all. Paul, let me know where you are because I definitely will.
Need a hero.
I'll come drop by you. One more thing I want to mention before I forget. So Managed Comics is cloud-based, which I know some people are hesitant on the cloud, but the cloud has been around now since 1993, so we should probably get used to it. What that really means more than anything is that you never ever have to remote into a computer at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night to do an FOC. You can do all that stuff from your phone, from your iPad. You can't do it from your iPad on PRH because for some reason they won't let you create an order on an iOS device, but you can do it wherever you are. So it makes that a lot easier. When I was like away a couple of weeks ago, I did my invoices while sitting on a chair in a bar, and
I was wondering what you were going to say.
Yeah. I was trying to decide whether I was going to mention the bar or not. Biggest question I get from subscribers is orders, customer orders placed online from Managed Comics get directly pulled into. So,
someone is at the front door.
My PRA or my Lunar order has just arrived. Biggest question I get from subscribers is orders customers place online from Managed Comics get directly pulled into RMH, or does Manage just notify us and we have to manually do the orders on our end? So you're still going to have to import your, so what happens is Managed Comics will let you know that customers have requested orders, and then you will still have to create those orders with your distributors. Yes. So if that's the question you're asking, so we do that with FOC and initial order files, and we have a new one that will have to come up soon that is like kind of out of sync. So stuff that isn't on an FOC or an initial order that may be like backlist products and stuff like that. Currently, we only display on the front end the upcoming products. We don't display backlist products, and we don't even have a system right now to do a check for what's available in backlist on the Managed Comics front end. But that's definitely something that we will in the future. Belleville, yeah, by all means, I'll visit. Send me an email to help@managedcomics.com and let me know where you are, and I'll drop by. What are the big five? PRH, Lunar, and who else? PRH, Lunar, Diamond, which isn't really a big five anymore. Universal. I think that's it. Did I say five? I meant four. We will have Filbo soon. And I just had a call with Milton Greep this morning about doing ICV2. So we're going to have two more distributors onboarding very soon. Turn your phone and you can place an order on PRH. Really? Because it gives me an error that says that you can't place orders on interesting. I'll have to try that. Will it get pulled into their files on RMH? I understand placing the order after that. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So on Checkin, we're going to provide you right now with two files. One of them is a products file that you will import into RMH to create all the products. Excuse me. The other one is a work orders file, and that will create orders in RMH so that you can just pull that person up when they arrive and get their order into your cart. In a couple weeks, we will have API access. We have to get approved by RMH first. They have to make sure that I'm not going to scam people. Once we get API access, then that will just be a button you'll push and it'll automatically push it to RMH. So it'll push both the products and the orders into RMH. So that should be good very soon. Just got a couple minutes left. Anybody else has any other questions? Shawn, what should people do to get in touch with you?
There's several methods. You can telephone me, of course. That's one way. I'll give that out to you now, which is area code 603-928-7690. And I'm at extension 2 if you want to come straight to my desk. Otherwise, if you hit 1, you'll hit Mary, and she'll just pass you back over to me. So that's one way. You can email me at Shawn, SHAWN, at itsmcs.com. And of course, if you get an email from me, you'll have a book it channel. You can book time with me. But we just want to inform you that you own RMH. You have a license. It's not going to expire on you. Don't panic. Brian's got a solution coming up that's going to finally get your life back. And I think everybody will be happy. And I'll take care of all your RMH problems or issues that you have. There we are.
There you go. So you can find Shawn online. And
now this is actually a WooCommerce site, and it's actually hooked to my RMH database. As most of you know, if they're talking to me, that I actually use RMH in my daily business. So we do have some hardware and some software that you could purchase right off our site if you wanted to. But we'll show you how to make everything connect. And then with Brian involved, I just see you guys making a lot more profit finally where it deserves at the stores. And we're trying to keep the corporate sides out. Sorry, Brian. So that you guys make the profit itself. And so we work very hard at it. I'm working with Shawn. Oh, top drawer guy. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, Joe had a cash drawer issue. We took care of that one night for him. I want to get on board with both ASAP.
Yeah, Bert, just go to itsmcs.com, which we included up there, and get in touch with Shawn, and then we'll
get you going.
Or send an email to help@managedcomics.com, and I will get back to you with our I've got a little boilerplate that I can send you. So yeah, if anybody wants to send an email to help@managedcomics.com, I can definitely get back to you with all of the pieces. Yeah, and so we've got, like I said, we've got our 5 beta testers already pre-selected, and then we will be onboarding Shawn's folks. So Shawn's got 60, 70 people that are ready to go. So we'll get those people on, and then anybody else, as we get once we have our self-serve stuff, it'll be very, very easy to get on and start using it. Christina asked, would there be a benefit to switching to Oryx? No. So if you're using Shopify, you're going to want to keep using Shopify. There's not going to be the only difference. The only thing that like Shopify won't have for the near future is the vaulted credit cards. But as soon as they do, that's a no-brainer. Like that's turned on automatically. All the infrastructure is there for you guys. But everything we do on Oryx, you're going to be getting on Ordo. It's back and forth. So you don't have to worry about it. In fact, we'll probably build it on Ordo first and then push to Oryx, just because since Ordo is the code base, we'll want to push stuff from it to the new one. But we can go either way with this stuff. So it really depends on which one is quicker for us to develop on.
Just to clarify, so everybody knows that there's using RMH. When you go to board onto Managed Comics, you still got to go through me, because I'm going to be the one that provide Brian with the information to make that all happen.
For sure. Cool. I think that's going to do it. We're right at the 4:00, and I got to go start our webinar right now. So I guess I should shut this down. Thank you so much, everyone. Like I said, if you need more of us, get in touch with me at help@managedcomics.com, and I will put you through to everybody. And we will see you very soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate what you did for us.
Yeah, thanks so much. All right. See everyone soon.
Bye-bye.